Today I'm sharing highlights from the Q&A session with Corepunk developers. I've gathered the most interesting information to share with you. No fluff, just the key points along with some of my thoughts. To make this easier to follow, I've grouped similar answers together, such as those about endgame content, classes, and quality of life improvements. Here is a quick overview before we dive into the Q&A details. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Make sure to get plenty of rest during the holidays. Now, let's begin. For all you class enthusiasts out there, we've got confirmation on the next 3 classes coming to the game. The Defender is up first, followed by the Commander and Grenadier. These classes are in the most complete state, which explains their priority for release. The developers are working to complete the subclass representation in 3 available classes. Champions currently have the Destroyer and Ranger, Bombers have the Infiltrator and Blast Medic, and Warmongers have the Shaman and Legionary. These 3 new subclasses will complete these existing classes, allowing developers to focus on the remaining 3 classes that don't yet have any subclasses representatives. While this might disappoint those eagerly awaiting a mage class of Berserker, we at least know which subclasses are coming soon. Regarding the release schedule, the developers shared that they are planning to introduce Defender class alongside the new Extraction instance. This is expected to drop by the end of January, after the holiday season. For all the magic enthusiasts out there are some great news too. The developers have confirmed that Warlock and Pyromancer will be the first magic-focused specialization coming to the game. While they haven't given up specific dates for these classes, it's good to know they're in the pipeline. As for dungeons, in the coming weeks, players can expect the first PvE PvP Extraction dungeon, followed by the King's Battleground mod. Later, 2 PvE dungeons will be released, designed for both solo players and groups. All this content is planned for release within a 4-5 month roadmap. Dungeons will have no access restrictions. Players can run them as often as they want. While initially launching without daily weekly rewards, this system will be added in the future updates. Dungeons will come in 2 phases, first with fixed layout, followed later by procedurally generated dungeons for added variety. As for Battlegrounds, each team will have 12 players, organized in 3 smaller parties, competing to control 5 strategic points across the map. The matches are designed to be fast-paced and action-packed, typically lasting between 15 and 20 minutes, and players use their own gear rather than standardized equipment. You won't lose any gear or any other punishment by dying in the Battlegrounds, just a simple respawn time before jumping back into the action. And to keep players motivated, everyone who participates will receive a special reward chest filled with various items, regardless of whether they win or lose. I think the Battlegrounds release should include a gear rating system to provide equal PvP opportunities for all players, whether they're fresh level 20s with basic gear or veterans with 500 hours and maxed equipment. Similar to Albion Online system, which increases the power of lower tier gear while decreasing that of a high tier gear to a balanced level. Corepunk could just max out all of the participant implants and weapons. This would ensure that success depends on skill, talent tree choices, and implant synergy rather than gear advantage. As for Endgame, there are 3 main pillars of content. World content. The open world will remain crucial for endgame activities, with world bosses dropping valuable resources for crafting artifacts, weapons, and chips. Instanced content. Both PvE dungeons and the new Extraction instance will offer unique rewards like exclusive recipes. PvP content. Battlegrounds will feature ranking system with exclusive cosmetic rewards and achievements. Speaking of the new Extraction instance, it's been designed to serve both PvE and PvP players. If you are not interested in player combat, you can focus on farming and safely extracting without engaging other players. However, be careful, dying to environmental hazards will still result in losing your loot. While current focus appears PvP heavy, PvE instances are next in the development pipeline. They are also maintaining a strong focus on hero development and itemization balance, though they need more player data to make effective adjustments. Regarding Tier 3 recipes availability, the developers have heard the community's concern about Tier 3 recipes being too hard to obtain. In response, they are making these recipes available through vendors. This is a huge quality of life improvement that will make high-end crafting accessible to everyone, not just the lucky few. They openly acknowledge that some systems, including loot tables, aren't yet working as intended. The team mentioned that they are learning a lot from how players actually interact with the game, which often differs from their initial expectations. And the least question concerning Endgame: are developers happy with the state of world bosses? Let me provide some context about this issue. Some world bosses appear overpowered, making them difficult to defeat even with a fully geared party. Another concern is their weak loot drops, which ties into larger balance issues. I've already covered the drop balance in my previous video, so feel free to check that out after this one. Now, regarding the boss question specifically, here's what the developers said. While these epic battles are functional, they acknowledge that there is significant room for improvement in terms of mechanics, animations, and visual effects. What's particularly interesting in their stance on difficulty. Rather than simply nerfing these counters, they are focusing on making them more engaging and readable. The core design philosophy is: they want skilled players to be able to tackle these challenges even without top-tier gear, emphasizing player skill through positioning and ability dodging. This approach aligns perfectly with their broader vision of making both PvE and PvP content accessible to all players, where skill can often trump gear advantages. However, they have been clear that the current implementation isn't quite hitting their quality targets yet, and they are actively working on improvements to deliver a more polished experience. As for artifact active abilities, the developers are implementing it for both artifacts and weapons in Corepunk, and development is progressing well. The system works like this: artifacts will receive active abilities through special runes, though not every artifact will be compatible. Weapons will follow a similar pattern, using advanced chips for active abilities, but they'll require dedicated slots for these upgrades. The integration of these active abilities creates an intricate system. Some abilities will require specific passive talent combinations, while others will be limited to certain weapon specializations or linked to crafting or gathering skills. This creates rich opportunities for character customization. Concerning artifact bounding, Tier 3 artifacts currently remain character bound, but developers are open to potential changes. The game offers some flexibility through its crafting system, allowing players to craft and trade certain items between their characters. Final decisions about account-wide sharing will be made after analyzing players' behavior and economic patterns, once the auction house is fully operational. Concerning Weapon Mastery Tree, the development team plans to implement connector nodes that will allow players to move between different skill branches. They are actively working on making the tailored system more dynamic, though specific stat choices haven't been mentioned yet. The developers addressed concerns about the auction house, explaining that they are taking a careful approach with its implementation. They want to ensure the game's economy is stable and balanced before introducing such a crucial feature. This topic naturally leads to a related question about the gathering and crafting talent tree mastery. They've revealed plans for an extensive crafting and gathering talent tree system. These trees will offer unique perks for dedicated crafters and gatherers, including survival bonuses and tools to avoid hostile players while farming. This system will launch alongside the auction house, as both features are closely tied to the game's economy. Many players, myself included, would prefer to see the auction house implemented sooner rather than later, since gathering and crafting currently offer limited profit potential. Right now, only players who genuinely enjoy these activities pursue them. Most players opt for farming golems and bosses in the steppes for implants and weapons, as it's more time efficient. This explains why developers are planning to release the auction house and crafting, gathering, mastering trees together near the game's full release. The developers acknowledge the significant power differences between gear tiers and plan to address this after most players reach Tier 3 gear. Tier 1 and Tier 2 equipment are designed as temporary progression steps, eventually becoming crafting materials. To address the gear gap during early access, developers are monitoring progression data and adjusting Tier 3 item acquisition. They expect the disparity to naturally resolve as more players obtain Tier 3 artifacts. Due to technical limitations, major balance changes require server downtime, so adjustments are currently limited to critical issues. While they've studied other games for inspiration, they emphasize that Corepunk will need its own unique balance approach. As for the guild, the devs have confirmed it's coming in spring, right after they released the first 2 PvE dungeons. At launch, guilds will support up to 50 members and come with essential features like a shared bank, custom logos, and a comprehensive rights management system. But that's not all. They are already planning to expand this with guild rankings and even guild warfare mechanics closer to the full release. I think one of the core aspects of MMORPGs is the opportunity to socialize, interacting with other players through trading, farming, and sharing interest in both PvE and PvP content. Some players you'll meet just once, others you'll add to your friend list for regular gaming sessions. Sometimes you'll find people with so many mutual interests that it may even lead to real-life friendships. The guild system is a fundamental social mechanic that creates these meaningful player experiences. Let's proceed to the quality of life improvements. The developers have confirmed they are actively working on enhancing the chat system. Based on extensive community feedback, they recognized the need for a more robust communication platform. While specific features weren't detailed, we can expect significant improvements to the chat functionality and user customization options in upcoming updates. Though no exit timeline was provided, the team emphasized that chat improvements are among their development priorities, suggesting we might see these changes implemented relatively soon. Great news for players with multiple characters or those looking to start fresh. The developers are implementing gold deposits in the account bank in the nearest future. For bank and inventory system, the developers plan to add a search function as one of their first quality of life improvements, though it's not currently a top priority. Additional improvements will be considered after completing more critical features. Concerning map search functionality, instead of adding search features right away, developers are prioritizing visual improvements to make the map more informative and intuitive. They are working on enhancing the map to help players naturally discover and understand different areas of the game world. Regarding the ability to change weapon specialization within a single character, it will be introduced closer to release. Players will need to level up new specialization on the same character, which will take longer than leveling a first specialization on a new character. This balance between players who want quick class swapping and those who prefer investment in character choices. Currently, the team is prioritizing core content like dungeons and Battlegrounds before implementing specialization switching. As for aggression system, the developers have confirmed that some changes are already in place. For Corepunk players, the issue were clear. Creatures would aggro from unreasonably far distances, forcing players to avoid their camps. Yet, the bigger problem wasn't just the initial aggro range, it was how far players had to run before the mobs would give up chase. This often turned into an Olympic-style marathon, where fleeing from one pack of mobs could trigger another camp, creating an endless chase sequence. A recent update has improved the situation by reducing the distance mobs will pursue players, though it's still not perfect. The developers are actively monitoring player feedback and plan to make further improvements to this mechanic. Regarding PvP and overall game performance, the development team has acknowledged the performance challenges players are experiencing in PvP encounters. They made it clear that game optimization is a top priority right now, with developers actively working on both server-side improvements and client optimization. While they haven't given us a specific timeline, it's encouraging to see that they are taking this issue seriously and are committed to delivering a smoother PvP experience. And finally, here's my favorite question from today's session. Can we have a known issue list? The developers shared their current focus areas: optimization, bug fixes, balance adjustments, and new content. While they provided some details, nothing specific was mentioned. But the question raises an interesting suggestion: implementing a 3-column table showing known issues, in progress, and resolved statuses, with cards containing issue titles and brief descriptions. The system would help players quickly check if developers are aware of the issues they've encountered by simply visiting Discord or the Notion page. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 offers an excellent example of this implementation. The example is on the screen. That wraps up the major points from the Q&A session. It's clear the development team is listening to player feedback and working hard to create a balanced, enjoyable experience for different playstyles. If you have questions about the game that haven't been covered yet, just head over to Discord and ask away. The more upvotes your question gets from the Corepunk community, the better chance it has of being addressed in the next Q&A session. If you would like to share your thoughts regarding any of the answers, you're more than welcome to do so. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.